Hey folks, so we're going to get right into this, and I just want to touch base. I'm going to cover ideas. I also want to go through the cues very quickly here because it's really important. I'm getting a lot of questions about Bitcoin, and I will cover that at the end. But I really want to focus on stocks because this is a really critical level. I can't express that enough. As always, subscribe to this channel, put on the notifications. This is very timely stuff, and in my opinion, I think it's relevant and I think it's worth your time. So there's a reason why I'm doing this. I'm trying to educate people into what it truly takes to be a consistent, profitable trader or investor. Even if you're a swing trader or a day trader, you need to know where these key levels are because it will affect your portfolio. There's just simply no question about it. So let's just dive right into it. This is what I wrote last night about on the newsletter. And if you don't get the newsletter, just click in the description. There's a link there. It's free. But let's just get into this, right? This 312.50 level, and we're closing below the 50-day. And, 297 is on the table, but so is this 304. But let's really drill down into this and get into what's really going on here, right? So here we are on the upper channel. Now, this channel's been there all week for the people that have been following along. So you could see how it's respecting. But look how we're wedging right into that lower trend, right? That lower trend line, the upper trend line, and that 50-day. That is a huge convergence point. So really what we need to do is we need to pop over that. Now, popping through that will create some significant pressure. So today people keep saying, are we buying? Are we buying? It looks like we're buying. The FOMO stuff, I've been getting it all day. Just sit on your hands. Let them convince you that it's going to move. Remember, there are thousands of stocks out there. You don't need to be in one at the worst possible spot. So just watch what's happening and then move accordingly. Now, this is the 15-minute, and we're just going to drill down into this. We took out the high, we came up, and now we're sitting right at that high. We need this to continue to push. Now, if we get through, I'll give you a couple key levels here. So if we get through this downward trend, this small downward trend that's been going on all week, you can see this trend, right? We'll get rid of the indicators because it'll make it clearer. So you see this trend? But look how this is the break and this is the high of the day. All they did was jam us up. Then they have a reversal bar right there, which is still an inside day, right? Kind of, but not really because you took out the high and then reversed. So we need to hold this, this level right now, 317.75. And push, and that could happen, but I need to see confirmation, and I'd really like to see this consolidate and then push towards the end of the day. I expect a lot of margin calls today, and we don't really have those numbers out until later, probably tomorrow or Sunday. The only people that have those real numbers are sitting on like Goldman's trading desk or proprietary trading desks like that see all the order flow. Citadel, groups like that. It's not stuff that us have access to. And that's going to be very telling around 2:30 today when the calls start, and then the Fed calls have to end or forced sales happen at 3:50 today. So just keep those times in mind. Now, in regards to Adobe, I'm just going to leave this out without indicators for a minute. I got asked about this one. You see where you are between 502 and 460 and how we're just basing? Okay, there's no reason to be in this. So now you come across and you see how we are here, right? See how these moving averages are flatlining? When they flatline like this stock could base forever. This could base for a full year or two just doing this. And every 502, boom, we can't break above. Cannot close above 502.53 for whatever reason. And now you have this downtrend here. And this is your support level. And now I'm right on this 200-day. I would not be touching this. Not because I think it's going to crack, but because I don't think it's going to go anywhere of relevance. Now, if I was a shorter term player, I might want to play this line with this as my stop, right? Like if I really wanted to be in it, I could buy it, and then this break would be my low, and then see if I push to this upper band. But I'm not really interested in trading a $450 stock for 30, 40 points. So this was one we had in the newsletter yesterday, and we did get stopped out of it for a small loss. I did put in the newsletter that I didn't want to take it out. I wanted people to review it just because I saw this bottom And you can see how we bottomed here. And now this is where we opened today on the hourly, how we ran up. And this is the all-time downward trend on the stock, which is not that long. But look what's going on here. Now we're going to break above the right shoulder. If we break above the right shoulder, we go to the head, 84.80. So this is why this is off the newsletter right now. This may be back on the newsletter by this weekend or sometime next week, depending upon how we hold. We just really need to see what happens here in general with the market, because breakouts are failing. I mean, everybody realizes that. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks in the newsletter, right? Like when you get to that top of the channel, your trades all of a sudden don't work as well. And if you don't get the newsletter, subscribe to it. It's in the description. There'll be a link, and it's free. So I like this, and I would put this on my radar. CCIV, I keep getting asked about it, and I feel like I'm bashing people. As I've always said, and let me just get rid of these indicators for a moment. Do your own homework. Fundamentally, if you feel that this is the one you need to be in because they do Formula E racing and the battery technology, go for it. But that doesn't mean that you should be ignoring technicals. So you have a rally here. This is when the news comes out, right? Here's your trend. This is when the news comes out. Stock drops to this level. The next day, people realize that they own something that they just paid $15 a share for, and they're in at 60. And what happens? Right? It breaks. Boom. Makes a new low. We're trying to rally now on this. 35.18 is what I need to get through. If I can get through 35.18 and pop back in this channel, that's great. To me, I'm forming an H, and that's what I see. So you have a little bit of a line here, right? You have a little support right here. And that actually extends all the way to this if you really look at it. If you really get into the opening here, you're really here, right? So you can see how, look, boom, 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 how we respected this level. This was support. Now they flip. Now they become resistance. So that's exactly what happened here. This resistance flipped, became support. But you see how you're sitting right on this? And I'm trapped now. Now throw in the indicators. Okay. 5's crossing the 8, just like that video that we showed a while ago and what that means. It's negative. And there's an indicator video in the channel that I would tell you to look at for these these moving average crossovers. So then you come down here, right? If I break this, I'm going to 22. There's no question about it. This to me is not something that I need to be in right now. So, they just paid $15 for the company. It's still at 100% more than they just paid a week ago. So I don't need to hear that. I don't understand the technology. I do, and that's why they sold themselves for $15. So, if it was worth more, they would have gotten more. I'm not saying not to be in it. I'm not saying that you won't have to pay a premium. I'm just saying just do your own homework. And if we do come down to this level, maybe that's where you need to look at it. But this has a lot of work to do to rebuild. Now let's just keep going through these and see what's going on here. So in regards to DraftKings, I really like this. There are a couple key things here that are really very interesting. Look at this lower trend, right? Look at how we're respecting it. If I get through this 64.19, which we've been unable to do since they did that secondary, remember when they did the secondary, we all waited for it to price, and then they price it and everybody got hammered on it. So here you trade up, but look, here's your open. 5, 8, 21 are all converging right on the open price. That's huge news. And if you look close enough, let's get rid of these indicators. If you look close enough, you have a new wedge. So that's really interesting. Now you take that and you clone it, because you always clone your lines because you need the same trajectory. And that tells you where you need to be as far as, your trend line. And it's more of a, so we can get rid of this one now. We'll remove this, and we'll remove this segment. And now you can see that you have a much larger trend, right? So breaking above this and then challenging this is just huge. So let's see how that goes, and we'll see how that transpires. But that's definitely something where if I was long this right now, I would not be out of it. Would I add to it here? No. But if we get above this 64.19, and I'm from from here, October on, and I close above this, based upon the depth and the breadth of this, there's a good 20, 30 point move in this stock possibly. So this is definitely going to have my attention. FSR is one that we've been following and has just been extremely sloppy. Higher peaks, lower peaks, you know, I've just been avoiding it because of how sloppy it trades. It broke out today, and I just want to show this one key level. 2160, for the people that are asking about it, 2160. 2160. So we were never able to close above it till 2 days ago in a bad tape. I don't know what the news is. I don't know why, but this is what's transpired in a really bad tape. When NIO is rolling, Tesla's rolling, this whole space is rolling, Fisker's going up. So there is something going on. Now, just one key thing to look at here, and I'm trying not to show everything, but I'm trying to show some things. Look at this. And people that follow the newsletter will remember these types of trades. When you start breaking these types of upward trend lines, you can flip and go parabolic. So this should be on your radar, and you could be using this line as some type of stop, or you could see if it sells back down to this. Frankly, I'm interested in the trade as long as it's above this line. When it loses this line, I'm no longer interested. And you can go and look at 15-minute charts, hour charts, whatever you use for your process, but you can see here, I mean, this thing's just, here's your flagpole, and now you're just breaking up. So there's something going on here, and this volume coming in is enormous. So this is definitely something that should be on your radar. We'll do that at the end. So let's get into NIO. This is what's interesting here. You have this very sloppy falling wedge, and then you have this right here, right? You see this? I have a lot of stuff on this from before. But you see how you have this line? Now you're breaking here. Can't poke above it. Can't get above it. Boom, boom. The one thing that's very key is as the market touched and hit a new low today, the Qs, right? If I show you a Q chart, see this? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I'm big on relative strength because it does play a part. I did not retest this low today. What does that mean to me? That means the selling is dried up and that maybe I have some buyers. Does that mean that it's not going to roll and break this 4150 level? No, it just means for right now, the selling has dried up and I may have some buyers. I would be looking to buy this when it pops back in this lower channel. The problem is you might not want to wait for that 54, 55 when you can be buying it here. So the way to do this trade is very simple. You look for a higher high above this line on volume and drill down into your volume, right, on, I would use a 15-minute. And what you want to see is huge volume spikes like this, right, that convinces you that, yeah, it's going to go over that higher high. And that's a great place to buy it. And then just use this low of the day as your stop. Because if you roll there, you're going to here, and there's no reason to be in that. You're in it to make money, not lose money. So I got asked a lot about this one today, Planter. Look, I really, really like this company, and I think they're going to be around a long time. I trade technicals, not fundamentals, and that's just how I trade and what I do. And I consider myself more a swing trader than a day trader. But, I don't like to make pennies when there's dollars, is the best way to explain it. But look, we couldn't hold this level. Okay, 24, 27, can't hold this level. 26.35, couldn't hold that level. So if we don't hold this 22.50 level, we're going to 16. There's no support until this level, no real support until this level. And that's why I'm avoiding it. Now, I was talking to one gentleman that wants to trade it and wants to trade it with this is his stop, roughly this line. Go for it. It's a buck. You're losing $1.25. And yeah, he's right. You could push up to here to $4 or $5. I'm not willing to risk going through one resistance level, the 5-day, the 8-day, the 50-day, to make $4 and lose $1. That's just not a trade I'm willing to do. Because the probability of that trade is diminished. It's probably less than 50% because of all these issues that you have. So I need this to develop and then look at it again. And you can see this channel, right? I'm not going to draw it for time's sake. So I'd be looking for it to break through that channel and then become interested. So this one today, and let's get rid of these indicators for a minute. This today is doing exactly what NIO did, and it's just doing it a little stronger. Okay, this was major support, and this is why I stress to everybody, once you draw these levels, leave them in. Now, what's interesting about this is we drew this, as everybody's aware, weeks ago, right? And here we are. Well, if you follow me, you do. If you're following today, you wouldn't know that. But see how we hit this level, and then we bounce, and then we rally, and now we're making a higher high today? How many stocks are making a higher high today? You know, it's interesting. I didn't get asked about this at all, and this was one I really wanted to show people. I'm making a higher high today. I'm going to close at a higher high, right? If we stay here. We don't know how we're going to close. But you see what I'm getting at. That on a day like today, that's pretty big. So I definitely think that is, you know, it's worth noticing. And then you could see this 43 level here, how we, you know, that's where we closed and then reversed up. And you close on the low of the day and then boom, right? So I would put this on your radar, and you could even wait if you wanted, if you truly wanted, because that's your wedge. I mean, you can wait until you're through 50, right? I mean, you can see this. So, and you can see the other side of it. You can wait till you're through 50. I just don't see a reason that this is not. If we rally, this is going to move, and just watch the low of the day for now and then make your stop tighter and tighter. So Invesco Next Generation 100 ETF, the QQQJ. I mean, we did the Qs, but I was asked for this, so let's just do it. So what does this chart look like, right? This looks exactly like NIO, right? What else does it look like? We just did. Looks exactly like plug, the same exact pattern. To the ETF for the 100s, you can see clearly this trend line, right? Now we're back over the trend line in this. I have to look at research on this. I don't know if this is a precursor like the SOX. It probably is. It's probably a precursor to the Qs and what they're going to do. But I need to verify that. I haven't looked at this one in a while. But you can see this channel. And if you want, you can actually clone the segments because you want to keep the trajectory the same, and just pop it back up here. And you can see how it just respects that, right? Because when these things move, these lower trends, the upper trends, it's the same trajectory. And if it's not, then you're drawing your lines wrong. So, but you can see bonk, bonk, bonk. And then what happens? It rallies and goes. So this is where we want to start looking at buying things. Doesn't mean we have to do it today, but this is where we want to start looking at buying. Let's overlay the indicators real quick. Yeah, I mean, this is really good news. I'm glad somebody showed me this one. So you can see how we're at the 50-day here, and we're popping back in the channel. And then we got a little hammer. You have a little wedge here. You have another little wedge here. A higher high is going to start getting people reevaluating themselves. And that's what we're looking for here. So let's just keep going and seeing what we have here, what we can do. So Rocket, everybody's all over this. Look, I'm gonna say something. If interest rates tick up and people thought they could get a 2.8% mortgage and they're getting a 3.7, you know, it's a 33% difference in their payment. Just think about that for a moment. Okay, so you have to understand that. Now that might be the difference between $500 and $700 or $5,000, $7,000. You just don't know, right? But it does matter. So just keep that in mind. But I don't think rates are going anytime anywhere soon. Doesn't mean that banks don't increase the mortgage rates because they need to make money. Okay, that's the fundamentals that we don't trade on. We've been watching this stock since here. Breaks out here. It cannot get above this $23.99. I don't know who the seller is, but they're massive. And every time it gets to this level, they sell. And you can just see these spikes every single time it's there. The way to buy this, and we talked about this about a week and a half ago, you buy it on the support level if you're a pullback buyer, and then you trade out of it. At this level, I have zero, and I mean zero interest in buying this. We broke the downtrend and it didn't do anything. Also, it has that pattern that we talk about a lot. You see how you broke and sort of going straight on these moving averages where they're flatlining? When you flatline like this could go on for a year. Could go on longer. I don't want to have my money tied up in that. So here's the SOX, very similar to the QQQJJ. And you can see how we were respecting that 50, and now we're trying to go higher. Here's our wedge, and it looks like we're going to push. We're not going to do the SPY. I'm running out of time here. So Tiger I like because we respected this 21.99 level, and I'm trying to catch here. I'm trying to. So I need to see more. This needs time to build, but I do like this trade for who asked about it. We did really well with this in the newsletter. As I stated before, I believe, newsletters in the description. Just click on it. It's free. I think we did, we sold 100% profit in 10 days, and then 12 points on the rest. And we did okay with it. Give it time, let it build, and then we'll go from there. This is extremely strong, and this was one recent add to the newsletter. And I got asked about it, so I'm going to cover it. You're right near where our buy price is. We went right to support today. And let's look at what type of support I'm talking about so we understand this. Okay, I went right to support today, all-time support. Remember how support and resistance lines flip once you break them? Okay, and here we are on the weekly, and you can see these levels and how they're holding. And then you go here on the daily. Look at us. It's beautiful. That is picture perfect. I'm above the 5, I'm above the 8. I have this enormous cup and base for 5-6 years. So this probably continues to push. But you need to watch the action today, and I have a position in that. This I find very interesting. There's a little battle going on here with this right now, and I'm not sure how this plays out yet. There is a lot of government intervention with giving the United States Postal Service contract to an outside company, and they really want it to go to Workhorse for some reason. I don't know how that's going to play out, but this is very interesting that we flushed out and then we never saw sellers again. And I think that's really very telling. And this is something that's going to take a while to build unless there is, binary news that hits on that contract. But it's very interesting that you have just completely exhausted to here. So that's it. Any questions? Feel free to message me. Well, you know what? I did say that I would do Bitcoin real quick. So I'm just going to do it through GBTC. And if you find this helpful, do me a favor. Please click the like button. My goal in doing this, people ask why I do this. My goal in doing this is to educate people on what it takes to be consistent and profitable. And I think the way that their algorithms work is based upon the like button. I'm new to this, but I think that's what it is. So here's what's going on with Bitcoin. Okay, you see this lower channel. Here's our upper channel. They're both the same. See how we bounced off it today and went right to this 21-day? I'm trapped between this 21-day and I'm trapped between this lower channel. If I break this lower channel, I'm going to the 50-day and 37.95. If I break that, I'm going to 33. You have gap risk this weekend because futures don't trade this weekend. Only the stock does. But you need to just watch this. This is a key level here, and it must hold. And if it does hold, you're solid. If it doesn't, you may have an issue here, and you may see more selling. But overall, right now, it's holding, and let's see how the rest of the day plays out. That's it. As always, feel free to message me or send me an email.